Sorry. There was a weird jumping enlargement going on there. So I thought I would go live. I've been promising to go live for quite a while. And there is always this moment, if you don't schedule it, where it's just me talking to me. And I really didn't want to necessarily shuffle any cards. But that seems a wise move when I'm alone. Hey, Kathy, you've saved me from shuffling cards. You're here. Well, we're having a chat, Kathy. So it's like you ask me questions and I see what I say back. Hello, Kathy. Wassail, wassail, Kathy. Also, I'm going to have to keep being a really large head. I don't think even if I put my glasses on, I can read. Maybe a little. I've also got a towel. It's so hot in here. I'm just going to move that slightly. You don't need to see around that corner. Oh, you were just watching my last video. Yeah, that was this morning. Same shirt, see? It's still warm, like a sauna in here. It must be said. And I've got the windows open. Yeah, it is. So do you have a question for me, Kathy? Or for everyone? A question for everyone. I'm going to put that deck down. It's like a nervous disorder to what there's someone else here that's shh. Hello, other person. Wassail number 2. Where's the crowd? They'll turn up. And if they don't, it's you and me, Kathy. And number 2. Number 3. We've got 3. Wassail Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's in Oregon, Kathy. You know there. So, Bobby, I'm doing what is lurking under the clouds today? You see, I want to say the spectres. I've been picking up spectral energy. So, it's kind of 4th dimensional frequency. I'm gonna shuffle. And see what the cards want to say. So yeah, I've been picking up. Well, you see, look, it's interesting. As I'm going to express this, I want to say that there's something of the falsehood in the spectre. So let's shuffle and let's see. What do I mean by falsehood? I mean like a deception almost, like no, that's not true. It's revealing the falsehoods. The spectral energy underneath the clouds is trying to highlight misnomers, falsehoods. It's going back to that energy earlier of the magician, like the false alchemist. And we've all become entrapped by the frequency of the false alchemist because it's become such a large energy. Wassail Marco the Yes, that's exactly it. It feels like something's going to pull. We're all going to be left standing there and going, oh, where did that energetic carpet go? It's like, yeah, the revealing of mistruths is what's being fed to me. The revealing of mistruths. I'm still shuffling, but the cards are wanting me to just channel the story. So what else am I seeing? I'm being shown images of like Alice in Wonderland. So things that are not fully true. Was our wisdom happy? Would you be able to show me your table? I've got pink this morning at 5 a.m. and you come into my reading upload 8 minutes ago. I haven't got a table. I'm sitting on the bed. The only reason I'm sitting on the bed is that the bar stool over there at the kitchen window's really uncomfortable. And then the sofa is wrong. It's not a comfortable sofa to sit on. There's no table. And suddenly I remembered that there's above the bed, there's an insert with books and plastic plants. Yes, I know. I pinged in. I do that a lot. I pinged in to help people wake up when they're having a blood sugar low because of their, I've forgotten the name of the illness, diabetes. Wanted to say something else then. So yeah, pulling this rug away and being left in a visual new reality. Part of this is we are in preparation for Neptune and Saturn first, going back into Pisces and just resurrecting the fog, the delusions that need to be cleared. But look, I want to say these are not personal. There's this real thing all the time about telling people that they're delusional. We're not delusional very often. We're just not believed in our heart's desires and in our truths and in our knowing. Wassail Tiffany's Empire. So yeah, there's this sense. It's like a collective delusion. It's like a set of rules. Now, what did I just channel about rules? Hang on a minute. I have to take my glasses off to read the book. Yeah, ninth dimensional realities. Look, they're not quite ninth dimension. It's just their levels of realm perception. But in what we would understand as like a ninth dimensional reality, it's, oh my God, I'm so bad. I can't even read my own writing. It's the first hive mind reality, the ninth dimension, but it's still heavily based on rules. So it's really interesting. We say Saturn is the enforcer of rules, but Saturn's only that in Capricorn. You know, we all have different frequencies. Saturn in Aries is very much about setting your own rules. So Saturn's going to go back in, resurrect all those Neptunian collective delusions and start to reassert them, because what we need to understand is the sparsity of the rules we actually need to function as a collective. We've got too many rules. And so that's really what I'm sensing is Saturn's current operational modus operandi is to work out what rules we need and what rules are just ludicrous. In the golden age of Saturn, there were no rules. So Saturn really is, he's not the enforcer of rules. He's the enforcer, how do I want to put this, of seeking knowledge, of understanding and compromise. And Saturn in the Musical Alchemy of Astrology deck is the divine masculine. It's the energy to listen and to have no judgment, because no judgment should be necessary. Judgment is just a fear. Judgment is an insecurity that we've all played out. And that's one of the things that's going to start to burn away when they return. Remember, Saturn and Neptune dip back into Pisces, and then on the 20th of the 2nd, 20th of February next year, 2026, they will meet again at 0 degrees of Aries. It's a whole new collective reset. So yeah, that's what's under the cloud, Kathy. Change, falsehoods being revealed, standing in our truth. That this energy of authenticity is really important at the moment. We really do have to find our authentic truth. We do really have to step away from the kind of societal crutches that are enforced on us. Yeah, it really is the tumblers. So it's like moving the thing around and saying to someone, where's the ball? Which cup is it under? And you lift up and it's under there. And they go, see, I knew it was there. And then you lift up all 3 cups. There's now 3 balls. Because, well, you see, that's interesting. So now they're saying to me, yes, there are. There's actually 4. And that is Pluto, that is trining Uranus at the moment in Gemini. So Aquarius, Gemini. And then these 2 that are just popping back into Pisces, but they're basically going to come back to 1 degree. There's this notion of this, it's like a mobile double sextile trine that's been going on. I think it's a 70-odd year cycle where they've been moving in and out of this motion since around the time of the Second World War. Wassail, Nicky McClendon music. So, I think hopefully that's answered your question, Kathy. I've got them in my leg. Let's swing it. Ooh. So, does anyone else have a question? I'm just at the moment, I'm channeling the answers. I'm letting the universe lean in. And, oh, God, it's warm. Tell me, if I put this fan on, is it really noisy? Does that... Just imagine it's spirit going... So, oh good, that's fine. It's much better on. So, does anyone have a question that we could ponder together? I might have a sip of water. I'm glad you can't hear it. Oh, delicious. It's cold from the fridge. So I'm waiting for a question. Don't make me pick up them cards. Although look, obviously I love my decks. So we have the Musical Alchemy. No, we don't. We have the Liffruma deck, which you can buy at liffruma.com. Links in the description box. And we have the Musical Alchemy of Astrology deck. What is the focal point of the moment now, do you mean, Kathy? Yeah, the full moon in Pisces eclipse. So I'll come back to you in a moment then, Kathy. So this eclipse is really important. The vocal point. Yeah, the vocal point I want to say today is a B. I don't know why, but B came into my head really early on. How the second new moon, I'm just going to write it down and come back to it, Kelly. Wassail, Kelly. So the black moon, it's usually quite heavy. Although I have to be honest, I'm not certain it's as strong as people have been stating it to be, because I didn't get any extra energy regarding it. So I'm doing this lovely Pisces lunar eclipse. So why is this eclipse important? Because it's in Virgo and Pisces. So you all know I'm obsessed with eclipse tunnels. So they're either solar to lunar or lunar to solar. And this one opens with a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Pisces being the collective house 12. Shit to be rid of. Things we need to let go of is very strong in this energy. I should have a list that I took the other day. So it's Saros series 128. It's a total lunar eclipse, whereas the solar eclipse is partial. And the solar one is 154. So it's interesting that it's kind of 1110 in terms of the numbers. So the lunar eclipse, because they're in, let's say they're in the energy of Virgo, because the sun will be in Virgo for both of them, the moon will be in Pisces for one, in Virgo for the other, and that happens on sort of the day before the equinox, the 21st of September. And then the very following day, the sun will move into Libra and Mars will move into Scorpio as farmer Mars, as gentle Mars, as non-angry, materializing Mars. So it's quite a big energy in terms of the fact that it's in mutable Earth. It tears open the energy of the Earth and allows an uploading emotional frequency. So I'm going to shuffle the decks and ask on the 7th, what is the frequency that's coming up? Because it is an upload from Gaia. Because as I said in today's video, our next Akashic contract is with Gaia. It's with the Earth. It doesn't matter what kind of starseed or angelic being we know ourselves to be. The key figure is we made a contract with Gaia. We made a contract with the Earth. And we have to somehow acknowledge that the Earth is both feminine in its living intention and masculine in its living walking pathways. Yeah, 21st of September, Kathy. There's an eclipse on your birthday. Wassail, AJHI, Sue, Wassail, Lisa P925, Wassail, Esvati. Sorry if I missed anyone. So let's just see this energy. Well, no, before I do that, I want to say this eclipse actually has huge relevance to the eclipse season that takes place in 2027. Because on the 18th of July, and I keep saying this, but it is the prophecy that's coming through. On the 18th of July 2027, there will be a lunar eclipse, and it's Saros series 110, and it's the very last eclipse in that 70 cycle eclipse season, which has been, it may be 74, 84, I can't remember, but it's been going on since the year 747. So it's the end of a really massive emotional cycle. And then there's Jupiter will move into Virgo on the 26th, which is galactic cosmic new year. And then there's the solar eclipse on the 2nd of August. But then, really magically, 2 weeks later, there's another lunar eclipse. So this is a triple eclipse tunnel. And I don't know what that means yet. So how many cards are in your deck? There's 78, like a tarot deck, in the Liffruma deck, which you can buy. There's 99 in the Musical Alchemy deck, but that hasn't been published yet. You can get a free PDF of it. It's down below. Yeah, I made both of them. Because I'm a clever bunny. And because it's like doing an enormous giant jigsaw puzzle creating an oracle deck. The rune deck has the original 24 runes. Then it has the additional 9 Anglo-Saxon runes. And then we went through all of the other runes in their different styles in different countries. And we included them, and then we all channeled different frequencies for them. When will it be published? When I get a house. When I've got somewhere that I can sell it from. So what is the energy coming up from inside the earth in this lunar eclipse tunnel? Health. This is Ædan. Ædan has the apples of youth. They are golden apples, but they're not golden apples of discourse. They're golden apples of youthfulness. It's like a restoration energy. I mean, I'm seeing 17th century, 18th century, sorry, powdered wigs and things. And I'm being shown, in that period, women were taught to pull all of their eyebrows out. I think some women are still taught that today. And then you paint them on. And as the fashions changed, you painted your eyebrows on at different heights according to, you know, your wig size. I don't know. And then there was one period in that fashionable time in the 18th century where thick eyebrows, like a few years ago here, made a comeback. And the only way that people could keep up with the fashion was to stitch or glue mouse skin onto their forehead so that they had thick eyebrows, because they didn't have any eyebrows left. So this is about gut bacteria. This is about diversity. So it feels as though in alchemy, oh no, Kathy. In alchemy, there are 3 alchemical primes. Okay, Wassail, Denise. Hello. There are 3 chemical primes, and they're always the wrong way around. They're the things that we call cardinal, fixed, mutable. It's the wrong way around. It's mutable. You open space. Like when we feel pain, we clear out the pain. And then cardinal is sparkling new narratives are able to come in. So this is talking about new narratives coming in. And then you fix in those new philosophical narratives that you're going to live your life by. So that's part of what's coming in here. It's about being symbiotic. It's about, interesting, the narrower the diet, not just of food, but thoughts, the faster we hurry to our graves. Be more cunning. Consume diversity. That's interesting. Wassail, Joanne Faulkner. Yeah, watch the sulfur come in. Sulfur is the 2nd alchemical prime. It's interesting because I was just thinking the lunar eclipse happens, the solar eclipse takes place still in that mutable energy, and then the very next day the sun moves into Libra. That is cardinal air. So maybe it fixes in. Maybe this is a period of fixing that in all the way through until the sun moving into Scorpio. Maybe it's the new moon in Scorpio. Interesting. We'll have to look into that. So let me just shuffle something else on this question of what's coming. So I want to say releasing dead emotions to allow new. Yeah, gut health. It's so interesting that you say gut health. When I was first working on this deck, it was only a couple of months before that, during COVID, while I was in Lisbon, staying in a garden, and my mother had died. But that was the message that started to come through, the importance of gut bacteria. I read a book recently called 10% Human that's really interesting, that talks about, in terms of the diversity in our body, 90% of us is microbiota. It's on us, it's in us, and we're just 10% human. And that includes our consciousness, but our consciousness is woven into all of the cells and the microbiome. Yeah, it can make it really tricky for the gut, but the gut is much more interesting than we credit it with being. In the book 10% Human, they discovered something recently where the appendix, which we've always just whipped out from people, is actually like the Noah's Ark of gut bacteria. All the gut bacteria you could ever need and you've developed, if it's not currently being used, it sits inside the appendix. And then when you eat something that it needs to be used for, there's a big party on the barge, and they all clap and they send out the bacteria to reproduce and to deal with the things. So when they were just saying it was an old, useless organ that was a hangover from some mystical magical time that they couldn't explain, they were being very naughty. Yeah, it is very interesting. I have a friend who has had 6 fecal implants, and she believes on one of them, one of the donors had fat storing cells because she started to put on weight for the first time in her life. So it's interesting, the second card that came out is Waken. Wassail Teresa. So awakening a diversity of bacteria. So when I went traveling around the world, if ever I dropped food on the floor, I picked it up and ate it. Because to me, going global was about consuming a greater diversity of bacteria. And this message had come through before I knew to do that. I mean, I was always quite happy to eat and never scared of germs, because I think germs make you stronger. I mean, there is a story which I tell quite often of leaving France to fly to Portugal, and on the plane we had to fill in a form to say where we would be so that they could keep a track of anyone that may be moving around with COVID. So they gave out these forms, but they wouldn't lend anyone a pen because of COVID. They were going to collect the forms and touch it. So I had a pen, and it went all the way around the plane, and everyone filled in their form. And when it came back, I licked it, because I thought, if there's bacteria out there, get it in my body can then learn to respond to the bacteria. Wassail Melissa. So yeah, awakening the diversity of the bacteria, but also awakening thoughts, awakening a collective consciousness. We have to move on. We can't remain stuck in the old rule books, the old assumptions, the old moral compasses. Everything is about to start transforming. There is a complete reset coming. And this card talks about day slides to night and back to day as we slumber and glide through clouds of grey. Wake up. So much room for yawning, sprawling, gloomy, slow, pointless, lifeless moments in time we call living. Wake up. Fall down and stumble. Trip yourself up and look around. Wake up. Smash your way out of the illusion and wake up. See the soft rays of the sun that shine on the living Midgard. Awaken. So yeah, I think there's a huge sense. You see, I was going to say of new emotions coming in, a new emotional language. This 6-9 on this card was moving and just reminding me of cardinal emotions, Cancer. So I hope that helps. I know, I couldn't resist, Kelly. I have to say, I'm not often ill. And when I got to Portugal, I had a day or two, and then suddenly my body went, and I started to have like the shivers. And so I just jumped straight into the bed, fell asleep, and I woke up and the whole bed was saturated in sweat. I'd pushed a fever through and I was fine again. Wassail, Rebecca. Yeah, there are new emotions for sure coming in. I think first of all, there's a need to clear the old with this lunar eclipse. Clear out the old. Remember that at the moment, that will allow Jupiter to cleanse, expand, and create space for newer, bigger, brighter, bolder emotions while it's there in Cancer. And they are going to Leo, and then by 2027, don't forget, that's the big I am moment. Whilst there's hot the fire. Fabulous. Jupiter in the 10th. I got Jupiter in the 10th, but it's in Virgo. Oh, this is going to be fun. I've got a big stellium in Virgo. So as we move through the eclipse tunnel, the sun and the moon are going to do a whole series of conjunctions on my big planets, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, and Uranus. Because she made Uranus all on her own without any help. So the next question was about this black moon. I'm going to use the other deck and see what comes through, because yes, weariness, tiredness is part of that frequency, but I think a lot of the time, I'll be really honest with you, black moons are rare, blue moons are rare, but some come and some go and they make no difference. I think a lot of the time it's a need in readers to kind of pretend they're slightly better at astrology than they are. I am live! Got a sore leg. I'm going to turn sideways for a little bit and just unfold that leg for a moment. Didn't think about that sitting on the bed cross-legged for over an hour. Oh, it's only half an hour. Already got a sore knee. So this black moon. So a blue moon is a full moon that comes twice in a calendar month. And a black moon is a new moon that comes twice in a calendar month. So we have Earth coming here. Wassail Falls Forum. Haven't seen you for a while. So, the energy that's coming from this is, are you open to receive the magic of the eclipse tunnel? Are you open? And it's the energy of both F sharp, which is higher heart, that's our galactic consciousness, that's the divine intention being planted on Earth, F being the energy of Saturn, Saturn being the divine masculine actioning frequency on Earth, and it's G sharp. And because it's this Earth energy, it's relevant because it's Virgo. It's almost like the first strike. Oh, thank you, Kathy, for showing people how to get a copy of that deck for free. But you can send us some money. I have to just become really brazen about saying participate in an energetic exchange through money, because I'm usually too embarrassed to say it, and now I'm not. Bottom of the deck has got water. Oh look, Kathy, and sulfur hiding away there from the last one. So earth and water are very two complementary energies. That wasn't what I was going to do though. I was actually going to hum you the note of this black moon. So, Jupiter, Venus, divine intention, and then G sharp Mercury, ruler of Virgo. So we're working with 2 personal, 1 generational energy there. So yeah, water is this empathic deluge. So it's almost like the earth opens, oh, and the new Akashic resplendency fills the gaps in the dry earth. I saw that card earlier in the Liffruma deck. The Earth Grap card was on the bottom of the deck. It's obviously not now. But it's got a perfect visual for this black moon moving into the lunar eclipse in Pisces with the sun in Virgo. Earth Grap. This is one of the Anglo-Saxon runes. So you can see here this energy. It's interesting because you see it's reminding me of rune 71, which is Kanafa, which is the old hunting blood scented nonsense that's been going on forever. It's like it's being undone. Where is it? This is a much more fun way of doing a reading. I see the card in my head and then I spend a year looking for it. But it's the energy. It's the energy of this opening. See, look. You can see the square and the line, and it's being taken out of the lock so that something new could come in. Now look at this one. It's this shape opening up. It's almost so that we can get a better grip on pulling all the old shit out of the ground. So that's also coming through really strongly. When we were in Earth Epoch, which is basically the period of time in which the Industrial Revolution took place. For the USA, this is your Pluto return on that energy at the moment. And in 2020, on the 21st of the 12th, yeah, we had the great mutation into air. And because it's air, air is the sword, air is the plow. Air goes in and it digs, excuse me, confirmation burp, it digs up all of the skeletons buried beneath the ground. I don't mean your loved ones, I mean the dirty secrets. So we need to have a really good grip on that so that we can pull it out and leave space for the new Akashic, resplendent, emotional truths that will be coming in. I am flowing or I am needy. Don't be needy, just let it flow in. We don't need anything. We're grateful for things. That's another question that I need to ask about at some point. Gratitude. I do gratitude, but there's an element of gratitude that's missing. And I think it's thanking ourselves for all the work we do when we go through our shadows. Might have to do a reading on that. Let me just write that down. So gratitude. Gratitude for our own efforts. I'm not doing that today, I'm doing your questions. So, this empathic deluge, there's all over the earth, there have been what people call light workers, that I call galactic love workers, who have been doing this operation, and actually many of them have been carrying secret internal codes. What are those codes? Well, they're part of an ancestral DNA that we've always been able to ignore. You know, this energy of the witch hunting. But also, it's in many people who never... Thank you, Fools Forum. Don't forget to give to me. If you give to me, you give to yourself and you give to the whole community. That's a new thing that we all need to appreciate, is the art of giving. I give all the time. I need to prove to myself that I can receive, but I never ask for anything. So I'm learning to ask. Yeah, look, Kelly, it's a really big thing. I want to say again, because I keep picking up, there's this prophecy of the triple eclipse that takes place in 2027 that's been coming through to me. Because part of what Spirit said to me was if I kept going, if I kept carrying on making messages, they would upgrade the messages that came through. They'd stop being so mundane and they'd give me the courage to explore and put voice and words to the new lessons that we need to be learning from Spirit, because we're stuck in a lot of mundane morality that just isn't true but is popular belief. We're transforming that. We're putting a whole new like cosmic rivers all over the earth. So bear in mind, look, I did a thing in Portugal where I uploaded a whole series of hidden, lost Atlantean, Lemurian, I don't know where else, codes that had been shut out from the world by the presence of shadows, while all of those Atlantean, Lemurian people were trapped in a quarantine. And I sang them back into the sea. So they're now available. Other people have got other ways in which they are presenting new Akashic coding remembrances to the world. But you don't just experience them by tapping into the Akashic. They are in the water. They are in the air. You know, I'm going to have a drink of water now. It could contain new Akashic codes. Because water knows everything, remembers everything, even when we forget it. So this black moon is leading into this lunar eclipse. I just want one more card. I just feel like there's one more thing it needs to explain. But it is definitely linked to the triple eclipse of 2027. July and August. Oh, see, looky. It's preparation for north nodal change. So a lot of the time we have south nodes and north nodes. And I have a problem, which is my south node is in conjunction with my sun. And this, because it's in Libra, it makes me very servile. I want to please people all the time, to the point of never pleasing myself. So I've been trying to practice my north nodal energy. But I think for most of us, you can have the concept of where you're meant to be heading, and astrologers will tell you this is what you need to do. It won't happen until now. This is when it begins. This is the reset. This is when you will begin to understand how you can sing the unfinished symphony of your nodal dragon's head. It's like you've done the tail end of the story. You got to push into the dragon's head. And when this comes really, when this is physically present in your living world, it will become the sanguine blood, dragon blood energy of Poimander. Poimander is the dragon mind of the entire cosmos, who visited Hermes Trismegistus in a meditation, vast, huge, dark, black dragon, who said, I am the mind of everything. He also said the universe is mental. It's not emotional. But we have to be emotional in this reality. But you do have to learn sometimes when to switch that off. So here is an image, Aqua Regia. This is Poimander. This is the symbol I carry around my neck, to remind me always to be silent. No, but they really drew my eyes to that then, the visible silence. This is about rule breaking. That's been something I've done all my life. Rules are made for breaking. This is about corrosive endings, dimension resolving, the discovery of truth. That's another thing that air epoch brings us, is truth. It's polyphony, all that noise, all that chaos to unison in the silence. So, shh. It's like, can't you just be still? Interesting. The moon will go, it's on the bottom of the deck as I've put it down. The day after the solar eclipse in Virgo, the moon will move into Libra along with the sun. Oh, with this moon a little bit ahead. It's not, you know, suddenly a new moon in Libra, but it's this energy. It's the beginning of eased emotional justice. It's the energy of angry Mars now being Farmer Mars. The calends of October is the official day when in ancient Rome they would ask the god Mars to let people become no longer the warrior, but to behave as the farmer. The masculine nurturer. I mean, did I really just say that? The masculine nurturer. And that's in all of us. Because look, I had a message from my mother and from Spirit when I was in Mexico. When you are pregnant, that is divine masculine energy. Your divine feminine intention to create life has done its job. But the life is to be actioned. It's to be made physical. So it's a divine masculine actioning energy. Birthing is the same thing. You are the representation of the divine feminine eclipse tunnel, the births. It's all just magical. So I'm going to put those cards back and then we might do another question. Yeah, I am fascinating, Kathy. I'm full of it. It's because I spend nearly every hour of every day being philosophical and wondering and pondering as I jump in and out of all the different realms that I go to. to understand things. I wrote a long list before I started. You won't be able to read it. Can't read it myself because I write too quickly. But it was kind of like 3D, 4D, 5D, 67, all the way up to the 15th dimension. And I didn't know it. It just came through because I chose to do it. But it's interesting what came through. 15th dimensional frequency is really interesting. It's frequency sculpting. And it's also the puzzle setter. So I've been picking up this story. This is an aside because I can't stop. So this is an aside. The puzzle setter. Apparently it's in the 15th dimension. It's not really the 15th dimension. It's just a dimensional reality that's so many degrees higher than this, and it's at a hive mind level. But it's like a committee that set crossword puzzles that are our current spiritual journeys. And I know from a thing I picked up a while back, some of you in that dimension set, and I don't know whether you're living them, but you set up a kind of life, a game of life puzzle test that no one has solved yet. So that was very mean. Because it's about putting people through an endless mangle for them to try and achieve something. But my understanding is that the people on that life path, wonder if it's life path 15, some kind of strange number before you reduce it to 6. Wassail, Natasha, Wassail, Nick Moore. You dreamed about an inferred body. I've just read a book that was all about people being buried in a peat bog. It's called Gorse. It was really interesting, and there's a sequel called Ragwort. Anyway, it's by a guy called Sam K. Horton. He lives up north in Cornwall. It's a really good book. It's set in 1780s. And it's about the battle between the moral and grief battle between early Christian beliefs being brought to the old pagan folklore and mythical beast energies. So where was I before that? Yeah, this life that some committee created that no one on earth can solve. It will be solved soon. And I have to say, well, I don't know. I think it's more than just Mercury in Capricorn. It's something incredibly testing, and the reward is incredible. I don't know what it is, but when I tapped into this energy a couple of weeks ago, I think they wagged their finger slightly at me and said, you were one of them that did it. But hey ho. Yeah, it's really interesting. If you are on that journey, you will be someone that likes to solve puzzles. I also know you will be somebody, if you're on that journey, I'm really sorry. If I was part of the group that set it, I am really sorry. Maybe I'm on it. You will like puzzles, but what you will really despise is unsolved mysteries. So yeah, it's interesting. There are so many, look, that's another thing I just want to say again. If you're watching readers who tell you you're a particularly special old soul, they're talking shit. We're all old souls. We all came into existence at the same time. It's just spiritual egotism to tell somebody they're older than somebody else. We're all the same. We're just on different journeys. We're doing different jigsaws. That's all it is. And the rewards are different. You know, you might be doing something that's a small reward this time, as might I. And then in another life that's taking place right now, we're doing a different jigsaw puzzle with different rewards. We're all trying to put all the pieces together over all time. Yeah, there's another one which I'm fascinated by, and I still don't fully know the answers. I keep getting more and more glimpses. And that could be, let's ask a question. Sorry, I don't mean to set a question, but the psychic archivists, they came through in Sicily, in Siracusa, at the same time that the energy of the 0 degrees conjunction between Saturn and Neptune came through for the 20th of February 2026. You see, and that's interesting. That's another of these things that came through 2, 3, 4 years before it would have any impact. So the psychic archivists, what do I know about them? At first, they were a group of beings that came through to file away psychic solutions to things, or psychic disruptions that needed to be removed because we were kind of moving through them and they were causing disruptions. Then there were points where I was made to believe we're all a psychic archivist. Yes, exactly, Kathy. Psychic archivist. So let's ask, who the hell are the psychic archivists? Come on, tell me about the psychic archivists, and are they relevant to Saturn and Neptune next year? Right, their oath is caught here in the deck. This card is God. This card is Mouth. This card is Estuary. This card is Cosmic Unhatched Eggs. There's something that the psychic archivists, interesting, are seeking. We are all psychic archivists, and we are seeking the cosmic eggs that is our next Akashic contract in with the earth. But this is the point at which, this is estuaries. It's the point at which fresh water meets the salt water and materializes. So it's like the point at which the salt, the materializing, and the consciousness come together to open an egg. Why is that, psychic archivist? It's the point at which we've done enough shadow work. It's interesting, you see, I've never thought of it, but they're saying to me, move backwards from the ocean, move backwards from drowning, move backwards from the pain that too much ocean would bring. Come back up towards the estuary, and then a new physical materialization can come. It's when you get to the perfect balance between physical and esoteric, and that is the point at which the cosmic eggs erupt into something new. So in the Gununga Gap, inside there is the holy cow or Thumbler, and she licks and licks and licks at the salt rime, and she uncovers the children of Emir. Emir is the hermaphrodite giant inside the Gununga Gap, and she's feeding Emir from her udder. Sorry, I paused on that word because then I was shown an image and I was like, that's interesting. So Emir created monsters parthenogenically all over Emir's body, and then the beings that were licked from the salt rime by Orthumbla, the divine intention, were the beings that went on to become the giants and then the gods, and then the gods killed Emir to make a physical world in which they could all live that wasn't just energetic. And that has got much truth about Source, God's desire to explore potential in the physical. Interesting. So the other thing that was coming through as they showed me the image was all of the children parthenogenically created are like us creating thoughts, demons, and they have to be archivized. You have to face your demons and archive them. They're not necessarily you made them as part of being physically alive. Oh my God, the psychic archivists, it's all of us. It's us doing our shadow work. Rather than the purity of the beings, see, and they're laughing as I say that. The purity of the beings created by the divine intention of Orthumbula, the holy cow, came into life, but yet they still created demons themselves. It's part of being divinely human. Oh no, it's part of living in a physical world created from Emia. The hermaphrodite hierogamous divine marriage was broken apart into masculine and feminine, and we're trying to archivize the demons between those 2 points. Oh, look, Kathy's all over this with the beautiful links to the Liffruma website. There's loads of beautiful information on there about the cards. There's articles that come from my beautiful mind. So, psychic archivist, let's get, let's just get musical alchemy of astrology. So, interesting. Sanctuary architects is what I'm being drawn to on this Moon in Capricorn card. The beat of the metronome. The creation of time in the physical is part of something that's being archived away. Time is changing. Because that's got something to do with this energy of everything that's transforming at the moment. Is that time is being, I want to say, recoded. It will speed and move differently. So we have here 74 filter, noise cancelling headphones. So this notion of sitting in the sanctuary architect energy, sanctuary architects, 7th and 8th dimensional realms. So 7th dimension is the architect's realm. Building blocks, it's the place of the higher self, the realm of the higher self. 7th dimension, it's not really 7th dimension, it's just a way of getting us to understand it, because in that 7th dimension, there's so many other realms. It's almost like Legoland. It's like, so I'm being shown the archivists are taking away the weakened, dangerous blocks so that the architects can build sanctuary, but you can't build them with the darkness. Yeah, that's 4th dimension. When people turn up a lot, they're 4th dimension. 4th dimension is sort of spiritual holding realm. Something, and they can stay there forever in terms of what feels like our life. It's but a second because it's timeless. Psychically sensitive truths. This is the energy that the psychic archivists are going through, seeking to remove. I think the psychic archivists are part us, part higher self, working to feel and lean into something. And then the most fantastic energy. Psychic archivy is like shadow work that you do with your higher self, greater self, with your cosmic +1, the amalgamation of your heart's desires, honoring your heart's desires. It's a perfect cadence. So there's something about archiving, putting it all in order, and then shutting the drawers and going somewhere else. Just archive it. It's the past. It's energy no longer serving you. And I want to just say, because that's another frequency that's coming through a lot recently, I've been having to do it. I just woke up one day and I just decided, because I was being hurt so much by people projecting lies on me or not believing my modus operandi in life, that I just went, I can't be around you anymore. If you can't support my mind, my thoughts, my desires, and my outlook, I can't keep supporting yours if you're not going to support mine. It has to be reciprocal. So I just decided it was time to move away, because it felt a little bit like collective bullying. So yeah, that seems to be Psychic Archivist. So I'm going to stop there because that was a question I knew too. Yeah, absolutely, Denise. And look, I'm really lucky because I do have you that I can share these thoughts with. But I just suddenly thought, if there's anyone around me in the physical world now who can't support my belief system, I can't support them being in my life. I'm going to go and get some water while you all think of a good question. I've got a really big bottle, but I want to fill up the smaller bottle first to keep it cold. So I've been doing a lot of research about water because I'm drinking a lot of mineral water. I don't really like the fact that mineral water's in plastic bottles all the time, because I really don't want to keep consuming plastic. But also, there's a lot of mineral water scandals going on at the moment in France. Oh, I went down my leg. And Perrier in particular have been hiding truths. So originally there was a big scandal with Perrier years ago, a long time ago. They had to take naturally sparkling off the bottle because it's so fizzy that they have to remove the fizz and then replace half the fizz, otherwise it breaks the bottle. So it couldn't be naturally sparkling because they'd added the sparkle back in. It was initially in the water. But the new one is that there's some kind of toxic energy, bacterias in chemicals in the water that they're having to clean them with a light. And so they're no longer really natural spring waters because they're being fiddled with. But the French government's been complicit in obscuring and hiding this fact. And it turns out that the lower aquifers, they've been saying it's drought, but drought or you're taking too much water out to sell it globally for money is a question you need to ask yourself. But so the water has become toxic above because of the really intensive chemicals being used by the farming community, and it's got into the water table. So that's a bit worrying. So then I was looking at, I don't think this is, oh yeah, Highland Spring. So Highland Spring is from Scotland's Ochil Hills, and they talk about the fact that the hills are located in a very large area of organic land. So there are no chemicals bleeding into the water table. But actually, I looked online to discover what is the best water available in the UK, and actually it's the beautiful water that I like drinking in Romania from the Carpathian Mountains. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's called Aqua Carpatica. It's so clean. And there it's just all pine trees on the mountains, and the waters come out hot. Some come out with sulfur in and you can bathe in them. It's a very beautiful place. So I've been talking and everyone stopped, or maybe I just didn't see. Yes, Stonehenge. I've been picking up Stonehenge again. We're here listening. It was meant to be a chat. It wasn't meant to be just talking at you. Yeah, dams in California, they really bother me. Partly because they're supplying water from the Colorado to, you know, farm avocados, which are not natural to the region and need a lot of water. But it's actually the dams are stopping the water coming through to Mexico, and there are indigenous river tribes in Mexico who now have no water at the estuary. Oh, you see, and that was the card we just had, the Godmouth card, where the Colorado meets Pacific. I think it's Pacific. Anyway, what little water was left. Yes, almonds. I was going to say almonds. Was thinking of Morocco as well, because Morocco has an excess of almonds, and they make a food called amlou, and it's ground almonds with argan oil and honey. Wow, Teresa, I'm really, really, really happy for you. Truly, I have always drunk water that dribbles out the ground in woodland. You know, it might just trickle out of roots of trees, and I just put my hand down and because I think it's important. Yeah, Californian redwoods. Hold that thought for one moment. Please don't let me forget. And I must finish the one about these people. So I'm not saying the USA is purely to blame. The Mexican government made an agreement with the American government years ago to say how much water could come through to Mexico. And they diverted all of that water to farming in Mexico. They didn't put any of the water into the estuary. So redwoods, yes. Redwoods were decimated. There were so many redwoods, and they were destroyed to build. And that was a real tragedy. So I want to bring up two countries, one that got it right and one that got it wrong. So in I think it was the early 19th century, Norway suddenly realized that they'd cut down all their trees on the mountains, and they were wise and sensible enough to plant for the future. They planted tens and thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, but anyway, they re-treed their mountainsides with pines. Whereas in a reverse version of that, where they didn't notice, was Iceland. So when they first came to Iceland, because it's always been said Iceland's a treeless place on the whole, but I woke up one day and I was like, it couldn't be treeless. You don't move to a new land to set up a new country and community if there are no trees. You need trees to build fires and houses, particularly in a cold place, and as firewood. And they were farming and they had sheep. And actually, the sheep chewed what little trees were regrowing. So the forests never replenished. And now that's also making me think of Make in this deck, which is Easter Island, the Rapa Nui. The Rapa Nui people were blamed when they made their giant statues for chopping down all the trees to roll the statues around the countryside to mount them on things. And so they blamed, you know, the indigenous people in that usual colonial finger wagging way of destroying all the trees. Actually, when the colonials, British, arrived there, they herded all the indigenous people into a really infertile part of the country, And they put sheep all over the land who again chewed all the new growing trees, and so the trees died. So Makemake is the creator god of the Rapa Nui, and they have this cosmic egg hunting, so that's going to this psychic archivist energy. And this is channeling and seeing nature spirits. So all of the young warriors jump off the island into the sea, and they swim across to the island where all the birds nest, and they have to take an egg, swim back, climb a cliff, and the first warrior that comes back becomes the channel for the entire community. And that's a really wonderful concept. It means that this person spends, I don't know how long, between these different competitions, but they spend their time tuning in to the messages of the world around them and delivering them to their community. So it's returning unbroken dreams to the world. Okay, karma. That's their energy cuts out, so that's the way it is. So is there another question? And then I might stop. Because it's 76 minutes. I don't know what that is. Well, 120. No, 76. Oh, no, that's all right. It's an hour and 15. Bye, karma. Is there a final question that we could dip into? Yay, nay, yay, nay, yay, nay. Or shall I say goodbye now? I'm rocking. Yeah, I really have found the magic in Cornwall. It's part of my ancestry, so that might be the next subject. So we have in our DNA, we have blood ancestry. We have these energies. Oh, yes, Denise. Hold that thought, Denise. So blood ancestry. We have codings in our body that match the frequency of our cells. And when we enter those dimensional genius loci spaces, it's like our cells begin to sing around us. But we also have galactic remembrances. But there's something at the moment that's about this galactic descendancy with your blood ancestry ascendancy. So you tune into the right space for your DNA, and then you can bring in some new soul song from the cosmos, which is a descendancy energy. It's like Kundalini rising and descending, but the Kundalini descending comes first. So that's just an aside. The magic of Cornwall for me. Denise, yes, Mount St. Michael. I'm digging in before going. Yes, exactly. You see, the thing is, we're always being told just Kundalini rising. There's more than that. There's our galactic inheritancy. Exactly, Kathy. DNA is provided as we descend. So this St. Michael's Mount, but I want to call it Mount St. Michael. Ooh, saucy. I was looking into the line because the ley line is often called the Apollo line. And at Mount St. Michael, it crosses the Athena line. So it's a really important energy in itself. So I will be going there. But the line begins actually in another place, Skellig Michael, in a rock off the bottom of Northern Ireland. Gorgeous. The most stunning monastery roundhouse things going on there. Yeah, I know. It was the Apollo and Athena line, I think. I will look into it. But the Athena line goes the other way because it's got something to do with divine intention and actioning. So the line goes from Ireland through St. Michael's Mount to Mont Saint-Michel. Then it goes through other places in France, through to two different important monasteries named after St. Michael in Italy. It goes right the way through Greece. And when it's in Greece, it aligns with all of the important Apollo, including Delphi, Denise. So there's going to be a Dionysus link because it's like, I always think of anything to do with Apollo is a little bit like, I'm God of the sun and I do all these things, but sometimes I just need a few months away. And my mate Dionysus comes and looks after everything, like the house sitter. So anyway, so these lines go all the way through, right the way down to Delphi, the Donna, Dodi, which is where Apollo was born, or Dodi. Yeah, Delphi. And Delphi's been on my mind again a lot recently because I really tuned into so much in Delphi. And I feel like this here, and I'm pointing in the direction, because you can see Mount St. Michael all over Penzance when you're walking around. So, yeah, I'm still digging in to what I think, because there's a lot of links between Apollo and St. Michael in terms of pre-Christianity and Christianity, in terms of what it represents. Also, the line continues right the way through Syria to hell, Armageddon in Israel. It's a really fascinating line, but I need to dig into the Athena aspect, why that crosses in St. Michael's Mount. Hope that the storm doesn't come in, because when I moved here recently, I got rid of my coat. So I'll just go there and get wet. I also want to take us to, I found a bus ride that takes me to the Merry Maidens Circle on Penwith, because the whole of this area of Penzance, because Cornwall has a big leg and then it has two ends, the Lizard Point and Land's End, but the Land's End part is called Penwith and this part was called Kerriere. And so because it's got pen in it again, Wassail McGill. Yeah, those roundhouses, they're weird. I've never seen them before, Teresa. They're incredible. Look them up. I'm sure it's called Skellig Michael. It's on a rock. Big, tall rock. Or Greater Skellig, it might be called sometimes. So yeah, there's a lot of stone circles all over Penwith. And I am with pen. I'm with this pen as well as being me, the pen. So yes, there's a lot to explore here. Yeah, I know. The thing is, Denise, can I just say, Pen is not my dad's real family name. It was the name of his mother's husband, but he wasn't the child of the man called Mr. Penn. And so I always felt like Penn was a name that we owned, but it wasn't ours. And yet right now, I love it because everything is Penn here. So it's just a good reminder that I'm in tune with Cornwall. So I'm going to shuffle a card from each deck before I go. Wassail, Zanoni Snowflake. Hello, Angel. How are you all? So, can we have a card? Maybe it's for Zanoni. So, Magnet. 6/8, the year of my birth. It's all about me. So this is cosmic ordering. This is playtime. It's universal soul attraction. See, look, even Zanoni knows Cornish. Carnish. Sadly a dead language, but they are resurrecting it. It's very similar to Breton and Welsh. So, we've got Magnet. If Ula comes out, it'll be 6868. Actually, we got 3. Etburston. Etburston is very, very, very much the frequency of to burst out of the narcissist fist. But this feels like a 26,000 year holding of the bow around all of us, and now it has to be let go of. And we are going to fly into the lagoon, the cosmic ocean. This is the space on the whole between the dark side of the moon and the sun, which is activated on new moons and solar eclipses. The lagoon, and it has 70, which is Verdandi, Kathy. So Andwardness, which is the current now moment. Archivize the past and attract the now, because that will pave the future. Look not backwards nor forwards. The present step is the right step. Willing for and hoping for will not enliven your future. Renew the tales of woe entangled around you, stopping you stepping into the unembroidered now. It's all to play for. So, what a beautiful, beautiful time with you. Tomorrow I have to move. Oh, thank you, Nikki McClendon Music. It was a pleasure to have you here. And I know that everyone talks with everyone here, and I love that. I think you're a great community. And actually, we need to set an example to all the other subscriber communities and talk with each other on every video rather than necessarily writing our own comments. I mean, don't not write comments, but it's just, it makes a real big change, because I find when I look at the comments, most communities don't engage with each other, but when we do the lives, you do. So let's do it all the time. Yeah, allow the now. So it's Janus energy, January, the two-headed god that faces forwards and backwards. If Janus can see the past and the future, then Janus's mind must be in the now. The other energy that I picked up a long time ago to do with Aqua Vita, the water of life, which is to do with your giant, higher, greater self. Now, there was something in that writing earlier. 7th dimension, higher self. For the last 26,000 years, our higher self has been facing backwards, trying to review ancestral codings, unpick them, unweave them, so that we can move into the unembroidered now. So that energy is turning round to face in a new direction, and our lives will move into a series that will last for another 26,000 years. So beautiful people. Don't know if I'll make a video tomorrow, it depends. Maybe if I can get to that place and it's not raining, I can get to the Merry Maidens. Yes, Blu-ray is very much another subject that I should do some stuff on. Blu-ray and Aqua-ray, because the Blu-ray and the Aqua-ray are different octaves of each other. So, Wassail, beautiful Have a beautiful evening. Don't forget, there's a lovely book called Gorse by Sam K. Horton. I think you might enjoy it. I will send your love to the maidens. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm gonna say Wassail. Actually, they've changed the format. I don't know how you stop it. Wassail, Marco Van Hoven. Sam K. Yeah, I think it's Horten, maybe Horton. I'm not sure. It's called Gorse, Gorse. It's a great book. And there's a sequel. Thanks, Denise, and all the beautiful, beautiful people. Yes, Horton. I think that's right. He's Carnish. I really enjoyed it as a book. It's really interesting. So, bye!